why are you bothering me? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Why are you bothering my intuition like this? You know what I'm saying? Like, why does my intuition feel worried now that you're around? And, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, I think it's just actually paying attention to yourself and listening to yourself. We ignore red signs a lot, you know, just because that's just who we are as humans. We tend to go, you know what I'm saying, for what we want instead of what we need. And, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like we ignore a lot of things because of that.
I done been through so much shit you couldn't fantasize it. Trying to speak on what I lost, but I could never find it. I'm sorry if I get that love that I can't.
Welcome back to Opinionated, the podcast, season 2, Kansas City edition. I'm your host, Joshua Hicks, and alongside me, as always, my brother from another mother, Ree Washington. We're back, man.
We're back at it like crack addicts.
Man, I was on the plane. I was so excited to get here, man. I was ready.
I appreciate you for coming, man.
A lot of people didn't think we'll get past season 1, but yes, we're here for season 2.
New people, new content, new stories. We got some stuff on the way.
My brother, it's been about 3-4 months since I've seen you. How you been?
I'm good. I can't complain. I'm alive. I feel like, you know, every day is a blessing. You have ups and downs, so I think.
Most definitely. I think with me, I was so excited on the plane because I understood that in season 1, when we were shooting, and, you know, excuse my language, I don't think there was shit funny during season 1. I believe that we came in with a purpose. We wanted to do more. We were dealing with COVID, was dealing with the death of my grandfather, so we didn't have as much fun. We wanted to dive into people's lives and tell a story. But season 2?
Season 2 was good.
Season 2 about to be fun.
Season 1 kind of just, I think, set the bar for those who we know, or, you know, those who don't know and kind of like got to know us through these episodes. It's the first time go around in Kansas City. Is our first time doing it, so obviously it wasn't the best. And then I think over time we're getting ready. I think it's going to continue to grow. Everybody who we bring on here, I think, has their own flavor that they bring to it, so they help us out as well. So
yeah, I mean, we had to come back to Kansas City. I mean, this is where we started off at.
Right.
We wanted to give them a second go around. We're going to have some guests that we don't want to name drop, but one I'm really happy to have on is Ryan Harvey. You know, we had a 15-minute conversation in season 1, but we didn't really get to dive into who we wanted to get out of him.
And I hope he brings it this time. So
I don't doubt it whatsoever.
I shouldn't even say hope. He gonna bring it this time. So I mean, we good to go on that end.
So man, give a little bit of life updates, man. I know you still in nursing school, right?
Still in nursing school, man. Just thugging it out. I graduated March 2022, so it's coming up. Just putting the.
I feel like you've been in nursing school forever, man. I ain't trying to make no jokes, but
I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Right? What you talking about? No, it's everybody's path is different. I think we had a conversation before, and my path is very different when it comes to school, just in general. So I think just it wasn't my time 2 years ago. I would have been done already, but it wasn't my time. I'm starting to see everybody who I went to school with my first go around start to graduate. So it's just it's a good feeling. I always comment on their pictures. I like them, so you know what I mean. That's, you know, as much as I keep in contact with them, but at the same time, like it makes me want to finish. And it kind of just, you know, that's their time.
Yeah,
my
man.
time's coming.
I think with me, with my life updates, you know, we got the podcast season 2. We're doing that. Have a mini animated series coming out called Financially Opinionated. That'll be on Instagram.
What's that about?
That's just gonna teach financial literacy to the kids. In urban communities, just showing them how to handle their money through music. We're going to be using music because music is the way of life. That's how people understand and navigate towards things. So we're going to do Financially Opinionated, and then we're working on book number 3, House of Try.
What is that?
I can't speak too much on it.
But you ain't usually you tell me, but you kind of just dropped it the other day on me. I didn't know.
House of Try, man, that's going to be my baby right there. I can't speak too much on that one, but it should be dropping in the beginning of 2022.
Okay, you can't give me a kind of a baseline.
I can't touch it. But what I can say is your boy just got a directing position.
Right, for what?
For a new documentary that's gonna come out in Miami, talking about football in South Florida, and you know the significance that it plays between Two Roads and Florida City and Homestead. You know where I'm from.
I think you actually told me about something along the lines. You actually have Mike.
Yeah, Mike Burtz, who we had on in season 1, who was a sports agent from Miami. He came up with this great idea and this story and pitched it to me, and, you know, I fell in love with it. And, you know, for him to give me the keys and say, hey, I want you to direct it, I was beyond blessed to get that opportunity. So just to show, you know, my talents, you know, from learning from Rose and Chris on how to, you know, navigate behind the camera and how to do it and tell a story. I'm excited to do that.
So where's my spot?
Man, you can be.
You know, I always tag along, but
Yeah.
he ain't let me know nothing.
Man, I can give you an executive producer role.
Something. I need something.
We'll need your
As I
creativity.
should.
But you know, man, honestly, I've been wanting to talk to you, and I talk every day about life
Talk to
and
me.
where we are.
Right.
But let's talk about, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, where's your mental health right now, man?
It's selfish.
It's selfish. It ain't no number.
I think everybody has their days, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a week, you have a month, or, you know, you feel strong,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then you have those days where you just kind of want to be by yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I can't really give it a number because some days I could be at a 10,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then some days I could just be not necessarily on the bottom of the totem pole or, you know, the ones and twos, but at the same time, everybody has their own realm of, you know, what each number means.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like maybe I'm just at a 5 and I just kind of want to be left alone. So I think my mental health is it's always growing. I'm always searching to try to learn. I'm very selfish. I'm very stubborn in a lot of ways, but at the same time, I think the stubbornness comes from an understanding viewpoint.
Yeah.
And people who I have conversations with are, you know, sometimes I feel like you have to have an understanding to understand what I say. Sometimes you have to be able to have a open mind, you know, about a lot of things. So I'm always okay. I think I should say I'm alive. I think that's being alive is being okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Having the opportunity to wake up because everybody don't have that same opportunity. So,
Yeah, and I think I take the same perspective. I mean, if I had to give myself a number, I think I always will be at a solid 8.5 just because my mental toughness allows me to be that.
Right.
Some days I think I can agree with you. They're draining. You know, you don't know how you're going to get through it, but you know, I think my spirit, I'm really spiritual. You know, I'm in touch with God. And I mean, that might not be for everybody, but with me, I can hold a conversation when I feel like I'm down and, you know, say, hey, I need you right now to guide me to be a better man or a better person. And that's getting me through the dark days. But like I said, you know, I talk to you every day.
Right.
My circle is very, very small. I think the older I get, you know, approaching 26 years old, I'm starting to realize, you know, all those stories of when your parents tell you when you're young, you can count your friends on your single hand. I can really say that. I think I know who exactly is in my corner, who's for me is for me.
Right.
Not cutting them off and saying that, you know, I can't grow as an individual, but to just have someone, I know I don't have to settle for unhappiness, if that makes sense.
I think it's a just realization, like, why a person's in your life. You know what I mean? And, like, if you were at peace in a lot of areas that you're like in, you know, in your life, and they come around and disrupt that, like, is that good for you? You know what I mean? I think it's one of those things, like, why are you bothering me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Why are you bothering my intuition like this? You know what I'm saying? Like, why does my intuition feel worried now that you're around? And, you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, I think it's just actually paying attention to yourself and listening to yourself. We ignore red signs a lot, you know, just because that's just who we are as humans. We tend to go, you know what I'm saying, for what we want instead of what we need. And, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like we ignore a lot of things because of that.
I think when you're young, you surround yourself around so many people just to feel loved or feel important that it doesn't matter who's around you, whether it's negative or positive. You just want to have that comfort of, oh, okay, I have enough friends or I have enough people around me. But in all honesty, it's like they're deteriorating you, like they're draining you. Their energy is not there. It doesn't match up to you. And you speak on energy all the time. If the energy doesn't match up, you're wasting your time. Like, you're killing yourself slowly.
Right. So
And I mean, like,
just to bounce off the word waste of time, bro, how do you feel about that word just in general? Like, waste of time. What does that mean to you?
the older I get, time is one of my favorite words because you can't get that back. Every second, every minute, every hour of the day, if you feel like you're wasting your day, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your life.
Sometimes I feel like it sounds weird how I put this, but sometimes you have to waste time to grow. Sometimes you have to in a sense waste time, in order to figure out what you need to do, if that makes sense. Like you have to put that time in. And sometimes you feel like you're wasting time, or sometimes you have to go down that road. Like, let's say, everybody's been in a relationship that they, wish that they could have taken back, but then it helps you grow, you know what I mean? Or you've been in a friendship and that, so let's just say that friend does you wrong. Like, it's kind of like wasted time, but at the same time, like you see, everything that you'll do differently. So it's not really wasting time.
And I think that's fair. But once again, I'll go back to, I think when you're young,
Right.
you can invest your time because you think you're superhuman. Like you don't think that you're gonna die, or you don't think that your last day can be your last
But
day.
it's weird that you say that, because like I feel like I'm a superhero sometimes. Like I feel like if I jump off like a 5-story building, I will live. Like I have that thought in my head.
But that's
like,
your mindset, though.
Right. Right.
But like the older I get with you,
God,
you
Jesus did tell me
I mean, when you and I, became friends, we didn't think it would go this well, right? Or like it will transition into a brotherhood of what it is now.
'Cause I think we just allowed it to grow.
And but now it's like when we reflect and we look back, we're like, man, a lot of time has been invested in one another, but it's a lot of good times. It's a lot of tribulations, but it was a lot of great times, awesome times where we grew from, just college kids and knuckleheads,
Right.
to, now we're grown men running a podcast together and building this friendship. And, you're in nursing school, I'm in education, but we're growing, and it's great to see.
No, it is. And something I like to say is just like when I look for anything, like whether it's a relationship, it's a friendship, a partnership, business, anything, you know what I mean? I think I look for people who have similar characteristics, similar morals, values, everything like that, because I feel like when one of those is off, then everything else can, you know what I'm saying? It's, you're only as strong as your weakest link.
But, I want to switch a little bit of lanes, man. We're at the age now where everybody's getting married. When do you think you're going to get married, man?
It's sick. I don't know. I'm not in a rush. Again, back to what you asked me, I feel like I'm at that selfish point in my life. Actually, my sister always wants me to, she wants me to have kids for, she could, be their babysitter for they could be with her. But no, I'm not, I don't know. I don't think it's my time yet. I think sometimes I get in my head, or I just tell myself that I feel behind, but I'm really not. I think it's just a timeline that society or this generation in general just puts on people. That you have to have this done by this age. You have to be married by this age. You know what I'm saying? Granted, women, as they get older, their bodies, you know what I'm saying? They have to, but
they
we
put that
understand
timetable. They
aspect.
put that timetable on you.
And I don't know. Like, I'm not in a rush. I just, I think that'll come. I think when you rush things like that, like, they don't work. Because you don't take the time out to actually get to know that person for who they truly are. And this season we actually have 2 doctors, and they're married. They went to school together. They have their own practice.
Yeah.
So definitely interested to hear about their marriage and kind of how they make that work and how they keep that flame lit, because sometimes it's gonna get dim.
Because one of my best friends, he just got recently married, and it was beautiful to see it. And I think for the first time, like in the back of my mind, I could actually sit there and say, okay, man, I want that.
Right.
I don't want it right now, but I want that. I can aspire to say, yeah, I want to have that love and that connection with a woman where it was like, okay, I want you to be my missus,
Right.
and be my best friend.
Right.
But as of right now, I agree with you with the selfish part. There's so much that I want to accomplish, and not saying that I can't do that with someone beside me, but at the same time, I don't want to have that regret 5-10 years down the road where it was like I had to stop what I was chasing because I wanted to make sure that you were comfortable with everything.
Right. It's just, you feel like you're putting your life on a pause instead of somebody actually, enjoying, or they see your grind, they see your ambition, so they like, no, like, go do what you got to do. I'm going to be here, you know what I'm saying? I don't think a lot of people actually care, because everybody wants to be first nowadays, right? Everybody wants to be that number one priority, but my number one priority is me, right? And so it's like, okay, I got to make sure I'm okay. What happens if, something happens and, I get sick, I fall off for a second? Like, are you going to be able to keep up with everything? You know what I mean? Like, nowadays, they, the whole little, it's the controversial debate about, should dudes pay the bills in the house and stuff like that. What something happened to me and I can't pay the bills? Are you set up financially? Are you set up in a good way to do that until I can get back on my feet? Or what if something happens to the point where I won't ever be able to get back on my feet?
And I think that all
So.
falls back on just the relationship that you built with one another and the connection. If it was always about money when y'all first met one another, how was it ever genuine?
Right.
So again, with us, we are in this state of almost emergency when it comes to dating because it's weird. You and I, we speak on it a lot. Does this individual love me for me, or is there something that they want out of it?
Right, and I think that's just with time, like you said, as you get older, you're able to decipher those things. You're able to pick apart like why somebody truly in my life, man, bro. I'm so in tune with myself. It's weird to say it because only a certain amount of people can really understand what I'm saying, but I'm so in tune with myself, bro. I feel weird when I get around people where, like, my body would feel weird. Like I tell you all the time, like, my spidey senses get to tingling, bro. Like, it's time to go. You know what I mean? Just because I get to feeling weird, and then eventually, like, what I was feeling weird about always surfaces.
Yeah.
And it always
that's your
comes
gut.
to, like,
That's your gut telling you like it's not right. It's
right.
Something's not good here.
But I don't mean, like I said, so it always it's a weird thing, bro. I just think nowadays, bro, like, if I was to tell the viewers or like anybody listening, bro, just take your time and get to know one another, and you know what I'm saying, like, actually be their friend first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think insecurities, disguised as confidence is the scariest fucking thing out there, bro. Because you never know, and it's just like sometimes it goes back to that, wasting time. Because sometimes it takes some time for that person to, to take that mask off.
And I think that's what happened with us in season 1. We were able to unwrap a lot of things about ourselves that we're promoting out there to the world, right? We're telling our personal stories and things that's happened to us and things of that nature that a lot of people can't do.
Man, like, nowadays I feel like the only person who cares about your past or like what you went through is truly you, because it shapes you. I think everybody else just care about how they see you now, right? But your friends and your family, granted, you have to take it with a grain of salt. But I think, you know what I mean, like, that's really heavy, just because nobody's really gonna understand it. So, like you said in season 1, it was like, no, like, we sat down with everybody. Hey, bro, pour your heart out. You know what I mean?
What do you like to get out of season 2? What do you want out of this season?
The agenda has never changed. Again, like I said, like, you're somebody to somebody. You're somebody to a lot of people. You don't have a blue check mark, but that don't mean what you're saying is wrong. Again, people, if you're not famous, if you don't have a status quote, everything you say has no value to it. You know what I'm saying? So the agenda hasn't changed, man. I think we're gonna have, it's gonna be the same thing. Good people, good stories, good vibes on it. I think it's gonna be the same, bro. I think we still trying to talk about the things that nobody talk about. I think, it's the same thing. What about you?
I think greatness is within us in this podcast and our podcast family. With us, it's never been about the numbers or the views or what people are saying. We want to promote real lives. We want to make purpose popular. Shout out to Toby on that one. But, that's something that we've taken upon ourselves, is to make purpose popular and have people believe in themselves and tell their stories and get their life out there and promoting all the small businesses, the small people, just like you and I, everyday people, where it's not about telling a story about, a famous person. Let's get them on the show. Yeah, we can do that. That's the easy way out. But we want to promote people who are just like you and I, coming from backgrounds like you and us, and hey, we're going to keep building, we're going to keep growing, and we're going to keep giving these stories out to everybody.
I mean, to cut you off, what do you think the hardest thing about pushing the content that we push is?
It's a grind. It's an everyday process. I think a lot of people, they want to become viral right away. I don't want to be viral. I want to be here. I want to be at the top forever.
Right.
I don't want to be sitting up there and it's like, yeah, one day we have one episode that goes viral, 1 million people watch it, and then the next week we have nothing to talk about.
Right.
I told you, once the podcast isn't fun anymore, I'll stop doing it. If the day I ever got to get on my social media and ask people what type of content they want from our podcast, I know it's over with.
Right.
Because between you and I, Rose and Chris, we got all the content ideas in our head to make this thing go. So if we're sitting up there asking the audience, and no offense to them, we're asking them what they want from us, then we've already lost it.
Right. I think the hardest thing about it is you're trying to talk to a population, right? You're trying to talk to a crowd. You're trying to talk to people who don't necessarily care.
Yeah.
Like, I care about myself, you know what I mean, and how I look and how I present myself, and I care about the people who are around me. I care about you know what I'm saying, everything I come in touch with. You know what I mean, just from whether you're younger than me, you know, whether it's my family, whether it's anybody. Like, I'm around my sisters a lot, you know what I mean, I care about them, you know, out of this world. So I think it's just you're trying to talk to a group of people who don't care, or, you know what I'm saying, and to me that's the hardest thing, but doesn't like discourage me, you know? You know what I'm saying? We still do what we do, but at the same time, it's just like, bro, like, you know, I think that's just the toughest thing. And then you're gonna touch people who you're gonna touch, and then at the same time, like, you know, we take. I go back and watch these episodes, and I'm like, oh, I like what he said, and I actually take parts and bits and pieces of it. So,
hey, I'm proud of where we're at, man. We're 15 episodes in, 16 now. We're in 2 seasons. Season 2 in Kansas City. We're back where we want to be at. I wouldn't imagine sitting side by side by nobody else but you. He's Ree Washington. I go by the name of Joshua Hicks. This is Opinionated, the podcast, Season 2, Kansas City. Love, always.
She said, why is it when I call that you always hit decline? Cause every time I pick up, it's the same thing every time. You ask me how I'm doing, and I tell you that I'm fine. Trying to match these demons that I sing about every night.